right decision. But I feel like what he presented was authentic, and it was raw, and it was something that, given with limited resources, if he can make that imagine with some guidance and more resources, what beautiful can come out. So it's amazing to be a part of a program like this.
And for me, I think it was more about just understanding conceptually director. I think when you say the word director, they should be a visionary, from inception to conception, if you will. And I think that he was able to do that here again, to piggyback everybody else, very authentically. Story is very important to me, and I felt that with the resources that he had, which were very limited, he was still able to bring that story to fruition. And so for me, I felt, well, if we give him some money, child, what he gonna do then? You know, so, I thoroughly enjoyed his short.
Do you want to say something?
What's up, girl? You want to say something, girl?
And that's what's gonna be remembered tonight.
And I remember that speech Dan gave me, like, yo, I think you're gonna do it. I want you to do this movie. And I'm like, I'm not ready to do a movie.
It was tight too. I couldn't understand that.
I can't understand it. If I could go back in time, that would be one of the things I'd switch up.
I told you was gonna say that.
Yeah, it was definitely. But it was. So there's a few things. Just getting backed up. It was the hip hop labels that believed in us. Them white folks was never giving me the budgets that Dan was gonna give me, or Puff was gonna give me, or Def Jam. They just wasn't gonna do it. The hip hop labels had to give it to me first, and then we went on. And then we went into the generation of big budgets. Like when I was an intern, I interned for Hype Williams. The first job I ever PA'd on was $100 grand, and we shot for 2 days.
That's why I hired you, because I didn't like Hype, and I was like, I could get his intern. That's my word.
Hype was his own situation.
Whatever, man. That's how you got that job.
But I came up like that, and then very soon after I came in the game, the budgets changed. You talking about the big budgets? I saw those budgets. My first video was $100 grand. Then like Hey Lover was 300 grand, but they shot for like 3 days, and 1 day's my. Then they did Down Low, 700 grand, shot for 5 days. Then they did the Tupac with Dre. They shot, you know what I mean? The videos. I was right there as we went from, hey, here's a little bit of money to like, here's all this money, go make a big. Because we're on TV and we're competing. Back in those days, MTV, BET, VH1 was competing. Not with just each other, they were competing with NBC and ABC and you know what I'm saying? Like they had to entertain. I think music videos of the early 2000s are a good indicator of human nature when you give them some money.
Music videos is recoupable to the artist. With marketing, after a certain amount, it all went to the artist. So when he's talking about it, I'm cringing because I remember being so tight because it cost so much to make a music video and I couldn't make $1 from it. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I was being robbed. But that's why I liked Little X, because he wasn't trying to rob us. A lot of music video directors, such as Hype, would spend $1 million on our budget, and I would go to the fucking video, and he would have like a house, and me and Jay would be staying in a little hotel room with rats and roaches. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, that's what happened with Big Pimpin'. So I cut that video down. I was like, why are we in a hotel and this nigga got a house and a chef? Because you know what I'm saying? He's spending our budget. So it's also a lot of skim on the music video because it's so much money being spent. And that's what used to bring so much. Like we did our first video in Cancun, but it was like $150, where somebody else would have charged us $1 million. And that's why we was messing with Little X, to be honest. We did It's Alright with Little X in Cancun. You know what I'm saying? And then I tried to get him to do backstage, but he wouldn't do it. So he made me do the shit myself. And I was tight with him for it. And that's what happened.
Talk that shit.
Just listen, hear me out. So you can take a key of Coke and you can sell it a lot of different ways. You know, some people want a $5 bottle. So I'll make a 5-minute variation for like, you know, YouTube. And some people might want a $1 bottle. So I'll make a 1-minute variation for like, you know, Instagram and, you know, things like that. And then some people might want a $20 bottle. So I'll put it in a 20-minute variation where you can get it from a streaming service. The fact of the matter right now is, you know, based on history, if you made something, you had to kiss somebody's ass to get it distributed, so no one would put their own bread up. Because of the internet, you could have a direct-to-consumer relationship. You could talk directly to them. They could buy it right from you, like a cousin, like it's from work. So whatever you get, if it's good and the product is good, they're gonna come directly. So as it relates to an attention span, everyone has a different attention span. I'm 46. My attention span is different than a 15 to 25-year-old. So I'll make one in a variation for a 15-year-old, and I'll make one in a variation for an old head like me, 20 minutes. I'm gonna sit down and watch it. So you can do everything. There's so many different kind of screens out there. There's a phone screen, there's a computer screen, there's a movie screen, there's a television screen. Every screen there is, I make sure I make it where it can facilitate that. And then you could get everybody. And you could sell them stuff once you get their email and everything else that comes with it. So I think the future of it is do it yourself. You know, my experiences, they're not giving us nothing. Nothing. And if they do, you're doing something you don't like, or something that compromises your integrity to get it. And you gotta tolerate people that are disgusting.
You just didn't listen to me, that's all. You're arrogant about it, you know.
I mean, so back then, I don't know how much this, when I met artists, I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever made, it's the greatest thing you've ever seen. I'm like, I don't understand that. I came from the side of art where you weren't sure. You had higher goals and you weren't reaching them, and you didn't. So James came to me and said, oh, hey, I want to make a movie. I'm like, I'm not ready to make a documentary. I barely made a music video. I'm not ready for that, so I'm not going to do that. And he was like, you're crazy. You should do this.
I would still say the same thing.
I still think I'm crazy, and that's what I'd say to an artist now. From those experiences where I actually turned down jobs because I thought I wasn't ready to do it, because I was living on that side of the artistic. I don't understand the narcissistic artist. But that's fine. That you're born with your personality.
There's such a thing?
There's such a
As
thing.
not a narcissistic artist?
Definitely. For the visual arts, you know, I'm painting a picture, and my picture I'm painting does not reach the level of the painter I want to emulate. So I'm not there. So I came from that side of it. So when I wasn't reaching those levels, and you're like, make a movie, I'm like, I could barely make a music video. What do you mean make a movie? No.
How do you barely make a music video?
Exactly, because you're looking at it like that, like an artist that just, you're not reaching the level you want to reach.
True. You know, when we were doing Ultimate Hustler, I think I pitched him my script Video Girl, and it had got optioned by a bunch of, you know, big production. And through the course of, you know, the 7 years that it took me to get it made, I saw the business change a lot. And I remember like the Oscars, maybe like 5 years ago, I think 7 of the Best Picture nominated movies, Black Swan, King's Speech, Kids All Right, all those were independent films. And, you know, what happened was, you know, when I got Megan Good and Ruby Dee attached, a friend of mine said, well, listen, if you got those people attached, I'll give you the $2 million.